Hello Internet, James Allen from Out of 8, and today I'm playing racing simulation GRID Autosport. It's basically an improvement over GRID 2, fixing all the things that were basically wrong with that game and making it more of a realistic entry into the series rather than kind of an arcade game. I'll talk about online play first. Uses RaceNet as with a couple of previous Codemasters titles. What it has on there is it has different challenges that you can do. They're all timed events, where basically you have to beat a certain amount of time using a specific car on a specific track. You can see here, and then it ranks you against people that are online. So it gives you a good selection of things to do there, which is pretty cool, and then you can view the leaderboard and stuff. You can also join a club, which is kind of like a clan online where you can race with other people, and then you can purchase vehicles using money that you earn during online events. It's kind of silly because most of the people that are online will buy or use playlists which change the disciplines and kind of randomize which cars are used. So you can't really end up using the cars because the chances of the car that you bought and spent all that money on being used is so low it's not even really worth doing unless you do a custom event. So what you do, it puts you into a party so you can play with your friends, and then you can either do a custom cup, which I'll show in single player, or an online playlist where it can have one of the 5 disciplines or a mixture of all 5, and then put you in a room and then you can race against the others. I found that online play was well executed. There isn't any lag, especially if you're playing with people in your own country, and the racing is good fun to have on there. So multiplayer is functional and enjoyable. What I'm going to do is spend most of the video doing single player, and I'll start off by showing the career mode. The way the career mode is, thank you, it splits it up into the 5 disciplines of the game. Has touring cars, endurance, open wheel, tuner, and street. It also has this grid series, which is a mixture of all those 5 disciplines. And you can actually pick which discipline you want to progress in. If you want to completely avoid endurance cars, you can, which is pretty interesting. My favorite is touring, so I'll start a new touring season.
For the next touring car tier. It's moving to a more powerful class of vehicle, so you'll be put to the test.
So you can kind of see they have different numbers of events. So I'll just kind of pick this one here.
Intel Motorsport are looking to freshen up their roster of drivers this season. Your performance has piqued their interest.
So you can see there are different goals for each of the teams. So we'll do this one. And then it gives you a run of what the different events are and stuff, so you can accept the contract. In the career mode, it gives you specific cars on specific tracks, so you can't customize it at all. But it does give you a good variety, especially if you switch between the different disciplines of the game. So here we go. One thing you'll notice, new, or I guess returning to GRID Autosport, are qualifying and practice sessions, which allow you to, practice before you start the event. You can also have some vehicle tuning, where you can change a little bit of the attributes of the car. I found that the default setups are actually pretty good. Game straddles a nice balance between arcade and simulation. The cars are much more difficult to control than in GRID 2, thankfully, because that game was just completely arcade, but not quite as hard as in, say, the Simbin racing games, and I think they're pretty approachable. You can also have vehicle upgrades, which will increase your low performance ratings and stuff like that. So I'm going to practice on this track a little bit before I actually start the event.
Alright, you've got 10 minutes to practice and tune your car. Make the most of it.
So here we go. In the cockpit view, again, cockpit view, it has returned. It was not in GRID 2. One thing you will notice, and this is actually probably the only bad feature of the game, is the cockpit view is extremely blurry, no matter what settings you use in the game. It's like they include cockpit view because all the people complained about not having it, and then kind of did a half-assed job doing it, to be quite frank. Which is too bad because I basically only use cockpit view. So you know, most of the time you're looking at the track anyway, so you don't even really notice that it's like that, but it'd still be nice to have, you know, Grid 1 style cockpits that show, you know, some sort of detail. So I'm just going to kind of do this for a little bit. Just kind of learn the way the car handles here. There's different camera views as well, but, you know, it's all about cockpit view. I have all the assists turned off. You can see the different assists when you're in the paddock, actually. Except for Racing Line. I like to have the Racing Line. It makes it easy to learn new tracks. And it's also enabled when you go online, which is a big help. So I think it's a pretty good feature. Like previous Codemaster racing games, it also has the flashbacks where you can go back and replay, like this, the past 10 seconds or so of the game, which is nice. So you don't have to restart the whole race if you, or a qualifying session if you do something bad like that. I think this is good. We'll go to the qualifying session. Just kind of want to get a feel for the car. So qualify. You get 3 laps, although you don't have to use all 3.
There's an extra championship point for qualifying in first place.
That was bad. That was really bad. Try that again. You know, you can lock up your brakes as long as you have all the helps off like I do. And like I said earlier, I really like the way that the handling's done in the game. It makes it so you actually have to drive the car, you know, instead of just kind of lightly brake when you go around the corners. But it isn't, you know, braking loose every single time you turn the wheel at speed. And the different car types do handle differently, noticeably so. Didn't really need a brake like that for that, but that's right. I'm using a gamepad to drive, just in case you were wondering. This is also on medium difficulty. Hard is a lot harder. And actually, I'm probably the best at the touring cars anyway.
Only bodywork damage.
The digital pad on the gamepad, you can press buttons to hear about damage or gaps to other cars and stuff like that, which is pretty useful. Instead of the spotter kind of saying things automatically. Oop, bad. Let's try that again. A little bit sooner for that. Better, not great. Yeah, third. That's good enough. 8th. Wow. It'll make it more fun to race through the field then. The way that the touring events are is it has 2 3-lap events and it inverts the field for the second event. Now we get to talk about the AI. The AI is really good. I enjoy it a lot. It's aggressive without spinning you out. It exhibits mistakes. It changes its behavior based on the car's types. Like this is going to be a very contact-heavy event. It doesn't rubber band at all, so it's very fair in that sense. So I think they did a very excellent job coding the AI. You have a teammate, which is, they're generally useless, that you can give little orders to as to what you want them to do. I'm gonna have to catch up to these guys. It's going to be an extremely hard racetrack to pass on. Ah. And as you can see there, the AI will pass you if given the opportunity. And they're not afraid, especially in the touring cars, to kind of muscle you out of the way. Which the first couple races I did was quite jarring to have an AI that behave like that. Because usually they're just obstacles you can pass easily and get out of the way, but in this game they're they're pretty human-like. After playing racing games recently with bad AI like the NASCAR game and stuff like that, it's pretty refreshing to play a game with competent computer opponents. Hi. Let's go.
On to lap 2. You're keeping up with the pace.
You can see the AI accelerates the same as you do, which is also refreshing change. They seem to not have... Oh, that was terrible. Let's do that again. The same brakes that you do, which I think is the difference between the AI and the human player. Knew that was going to happen. Yeah, I would say so. That'll give me a couple of positions. Like I said, you know, the AI will make mistakes, so very well programmed, I would say. And you can see the AI is not speeding up or slowing down just based on where my position is, which is nice. You know, you can have exciting racing without being at the front of the pack artificially every race.
Third lap, good pace. You're mid-pack.
And the objectives of your team don't expect you to finish first every event anyway, which is a change from Grid 2 that required you to finish on the podium every race. Here, you only have to finish, you know, top half of the pack and you'll get more offers. And you'll still gain experience. My teammate's terrible. Try that again. Yeah, I'll take 7th. You can see there is damage to the vehicle. It's not completely realistic damage because you really have to slam into somebody really hard to get some damage, but it is there. It's more than 0. So that's something. So then the field's just going to be reversed for the second race. I'm not going to bother doing the same race over again, basically. Show off more of the features. Alright, so that's the career mode. Like I said, I like it pretty good. I mean, you can choose which series type to do instead of being forced into doing events that you don't like to do. So let's do some custom cups. Lots of options here. You can choose between any of the vehicle disciplines. There's also a party mode, which includes demolition derby and some of the little mini cups using either eliminator or checkpoint rules. So what I'll do is just go through all the little major series here. Endurance cars are probably my least favorite, so I'm going to do it as Group 1. You can change whether it's you know, an endurance race or a regular race. We'll just do one event, keep them on medium. Then you can adjust the track. Cool thing is you can have it randomly pick a track, or you could go in and do more detail than that. That sounds good. So you can change the time. For endurance races, you can go up to 40 minutes. For track races, you can go up to 20 laps. So that is the limit there. So we'll just kind of do it as a 10-minute race. I think it'll be fine. And then we'll turn practice and qualifying on. And then you can change, you know, what the damage is and how many flashbacks you're given. And away we go. After we pick a car. We'll go with a Honda. You know, lots of different tracks. There's 22 different locations, which are 15 circuits in 7 cities. There's over 100 routes, you know, because there's all different alternative routes on each track and stuff like that. And lots of different cars within each type of series. So here we are. I'm going to do a little bit of practice just to get a feel for the car before I try to qualify. Again, with the blurry interior. Ooh, a little slow there. Alright, to remember about that turn. Oh gosh, I don't like that at all. One thing that's nice about the custom cups is that the game unlocks everything for you from the beginning. So it's not dependent on how far you've progressed in the career mode. You can play any car at any track at any time. So you could actually completely ignore the career mode altogether if you wanted to. Alright, let's go to qualify. Do my terrible qualifying run. You know, if you're fully accelerating while turning or fully braking before the corner, you're kind of doing something wrong. Which kind of speaks to the way that the handling is done in this game as compared to Grid 2. Like I said, these are my least favorite cars, I think. And that's my least favorite corner. Still in first, though. Because I'm on medium. Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah, that's fine. Fifth. I actually kind of don't want to qualify on the pole for a better racing video. So I don't mind that too much. Alright, 10 minutes. The big kind of difference with the endurance racing is that you have to worry about your tire wear, which does actually noticeably affect your performance through the corners. And then they scale the tire wear to the length of the endurance race. So if you run like a 2-minute endurance race, your tires will go like way quick. Here we go. Excuse me. We said the AI is not shy to trade some paint. But it doesn't spin you out, which is nice. It isn't like it'll tap you in the back corner all the time. Or really any of the time. I don't really like this track. Come on, off the rumble strips. Oh, excuse me, sir. Ah, bad. So I like the flashbacks. Don't have to go back and restart the whole thing because of one bad corner. I mean, it's single player. Who really cares? You know? Speaking of a bad corner. Ooh, what was that? Must have gotten in the grass, I guess. Cars will break loose if you carry too much speed around the corner. Like that. That was 2 terrible corners in a row. I'm gonna run out of my flashbacks. It actually went better than I expected. Jeez, except for that. If I can hold my position, I'd be very happy with that, to be honest. Oop. Hi.
You're in position 4. 2.5 seconds to the car ahead. Okay, James. The teammate is in second place, and you're 4 seconds behind them.
Oh, he's doing better than me.
I've asked your teammate to try and hold their position.
Ah! Crap. Out of flashbacks. So I only have 3 minutes. Time to get some positions back. Well, maybe. Well, so much for holding down 4th. Ugh. Yeah, I'm doing bad now. Hello, last place.
Your rear tires have medium wear.
I bet they do. Golly. Tires. 2 minutes. That bar across my window is very poorly placed.
Caution, driver up ahead has spun out.
Oh,
Keep
good.
an eye out for them rejoining the race.
I see him, I see him. Jeez. You can't apply any acceleration off of that corner. At least I'm not in last. One more minute. The race just ends when the, you know, when the clock stops, which is kind of weird because usually it lets you, you know, finish the lap, but guess not. Alright, next discipline. Let's just move on to open wheel. Let's see what we can get here. Brands Hatch might actually do that. Do 5 laps. And then 10 and 2, and here we go. Alright, we'll practice to get used to this stuff first. Oh yeah, Brands Hatch. Ah! AI cars are a little bit more conservative about contact in the open wheel cars. Let's do one more. Brands Hatch is such a weird track.
You're on average pace for Sector 1. That was a fast time for Sector 2. You're on average pace for Sector 3.
Alright, that's good. Yes, I'm sure. Hello, me. Alright, qualify. Alright, 40 seconds. Whoa. Fourth, huh? Yeah, we'll continue. Gotta put up another lap. Yeah, that's more like it. Cool. Alright. Starting from the pole. 5 laps. This will be over real quick. There's a lot more powerful open wheel cars, but honestly, I'm too terrible to drive them efficiently. Oh, that was really... We're gonna restart that. That was really terrible. We will never speak of it again. You know, while the fuzzy cockpit isn't, you know, by itself a bad thing, there's a lot of people that I know would rather use the in-car dials and just disable the HUD. But you can't do that because of the way that the, you know, the low-resolution cockpits, the way that they're rendered. So, you know, in that sense, it could conceivably impact the gameplay and not just be an eye candy thing. So, yeah, it is pretty disappointing. You know, it's pretty clear that they just kind of quickly whipped up the cockpit view because so many people complained about it not being there in Grid 2. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, there goes some damage. And we'll do that. That turn. That bump just sends you loose.
You've got damage to your steering column.
Out of my way. I can hear him in back of me.
To go.
Cut that corner a little bit.
You've set the fastest lap this race.
Sorry, Cones. First place. Alright, next discipline. You could set up, you know, longer custom cups with, like, you know, a bunch of different events. It doesn't have to just be the one race. You know, you can have all the way up to 5. Alright, next is Tuner, which includes muscle cars, modifieds, drifting, stuff like that. So we'll just do... We'll do muscle cars. Yeah, we'll do that. That sounds good. How long is that? Doesn't say. Yeah, we'll do 5. Don't want to do 9. We'll do a day race. This should be the same, which it is, and away we go. Oh, let's do the dodge. Muscle cars. Alright, Circuit of the Americas. Let's do some practice first. Yeah, this is more my pace. Nice and slow. And no grip. And really crappy. Let's try that again. Jeez. Well, you guys have no downforce. Well, thanks.
That was a fast time for Sector 2.
That corner. That's good. Alright, qualify time. Yeah, that'll be good. Kind of obliterated everybody on that one. I like that they have a range of, you know, beginner, intermediate, and more advanced cars. And you can just kind of race what you want to race. Alright, 5 laps. Let's do this.
I've asked your teammate to push for a higher position.
Oh, excuse me. Oh my gosh. Alright, time to get these positions back.
Left.
Oh, bullcrap. If you go over the white lines with both sides of your tires, then it slows you down for an amount of time if you gain any positions or time doing it. I haven't had it happen to me at any unfair times. You know, it's always been my fault for doing it. There we go again.
You've set the fastest lap this race.
Oh, awesome. Oh. I gotta stop doing that.
You've set the fastest lap this race.
And another thing with the fuzzy cockpit you can't do is check your mirrors. The mirrors are fuzzy garbage also, which is kind of detrimental for a racing game. So I don't know why they... Well, I know why, because they just didn't want to invest the time doing cockpits for all the cars that are in the game. But still, it's pretty ridiculous. I think we got this. Yeah. Alright, one more discipline, and then we'll call it a day. And that is street racing. So got a bunch of different options here too. I'm not going to choose one of those crazy ones. Just do performance. Since it's street, we'll do a street race. Wait for one to come on. There we go, Chicago. We'll do 4 laps. And I'm sure the rest of it's still the same. Oh. Alright. Oh, what do I want to do? Let's do an Audi. You know, street racing is what Grid 2 had an over-reliance on. So I'm glad that it's kind of just one of the 5 disciplines, you know. And like I said, you can completely skip street races in the career mode if you want. So I really like that you're not locked into doing specific types of races. Let's practice this for a little bit. See what we got. Pretty nice car. That's it? Well, that's easy. Alright, let's go straight to qualifying. Might even bump these guys up to hard, to be honest. Which we can do. In the middle of the race. Hard, please. I like that, too. Yeah, that'll be good. I still finished on the pole anyway. Yep, 3rd. Glad I put it up to hard, though. Alright. Let's do this. 4 laps will go by super quick.
I've asked your teammate to push for a higher position.
Yes, please do. As you can see on hard, and there's actually a very hard also, the AI drivers are very, very competent. And with the lack of rubber banding and all that other fake stuff, you know, if you're not fast enough to catch them, you're not going to catch them. So I'll probably finish 3rd. Which is about where I should finish, to be honest. Broke too early for that turn. Alright, third. Fitting. Alright, that is Grid Autosport. It is much, much better than Grid 2 in every way. I like that in the career mode you can pick which disciplines you do, so you can avoid the ones you don't like and concentrate on the ones you do. You know, you gain experience by reaching pretty attainable objectives. You don't have to finish in the top 3 every race in order to proceed in the game. The online play I have had no technical issues with. So, you know, you can play other racers in a playlist or do custom cups or join a clan. You know, you can customize single-player races however you want. From the beginning, everything is unlocked initially. Lots of different cars and tracks to race on. You know, the game relies on more traditional racing modes like, you know, laps and timed races. There's no silly mandatory things that you have to do like passing slow cars or the live routes that they had in before. I do think I will do a destruction derby while I'm talking. You know, there's qualifying and practice modes, which is nice. Really the only problem with it is the cockpit view that's fuzzy. Can't read any of the dials, can't see your mirrors, which is really the only reason why it matters. You know, because most of the time you're concentrating outside the window anyway. The handling is a nice balance between sim and arcade. You know, requires skill. You can break loose when you turn off all the helps, you know, all the assists. You can choose which assist you want to have. I like having the racing line. There's no flags and no pit stops, which is kind of weird for the endurance races. But that's just kind of a concession that they made there. The damage model is present. You can get damage to certain parts of your car. Probably the best aspect of it is actually the AI. You know, the AI is aggressive without spinning you out. It doesn't rubber band at all. It's very competent. You know, you'd be hard-pressed to tell the difference between the AI and a computer opponent. So I'll end here with this Destruction Derby event, which will be interesting to end with. Ah! Yep. That's going to mess up my qualifying effort. Alright, let's try this again. I'll take that. You know, the game isn't quite as feature-filled as Toka Race Driver 3, which I think is kind of the pinnacle of that, you know, the amount of racing series and tracks that it had on there. You know, there's no stock cars or trucks and stuff like that. Some of the more, you know, there are some ovals, but not, you know, the amount that they had. No short tracks and stuff like that. But overall, it's a game that I would definitely recommend, and is clearly an improvement over Grid 2 in every way. You know, basically the only problem with this game is the cockpit view. But everything else about it is fantastic. The AI, the tracks, the cars, the level of variety and control you have on what races you do and what races you don't do. Kind of hoping I hit a car here. Kind of made the figure 8 sections too far apart on this. It's kind of disappointing. Ooh, there was one car. There we go. Ooh, hit that guy a little bit. I mean, this should just immediately return to that crossover, but oh well. Nope, did get hit. As soon as I say something about it. Hello. That made me go in a second. No, third. Hi. Excuse me. Sliding across the finish line. A beautiful looking car, I must say. Alright, that is GRID Autosport. So, a game I definitely recommend, and is a clear improvement over GRID 2. So, that's all I have for today. Till next time, bye now.